Welcome back to That's How You Feel podcast. We have a very, very special guest this week. She's an entrepreneur, a business owner. And I'm not even going to say that she's one of, I think she is the best photographer. I know she is the best photographer in the Central Valley. We welcome Amber Smith to That's How You Feel podcast. Amber, thank you for joining the show.
You would say that.
I know, you're the GOAT.
Uncomfortable right off the bat.
No, you're the GOAT. I'm just going to give you props.
No, I just like to say that I would not say that.
Just eat your humble pie. I know you're humble.
Like that.
Is this your first podcast?
This is my first podcast, and I was not going to do it. I was like, that is not me. That's not my thing. Yeah, your sister talked me into it.
Yeah, shout out to Anissa.
Yeah, Anissa, yes, good friend.
Yeah, because I remember we had tried to write you, and then you kind of completely ghosted me, just left me on red. I'm like, oh my, Amber, really? That's how you feel.
You're gonna put her on the spot. Yes, don't do that to her.
Yes, but no,
I do that. I like read something and I get like stage fright, and I'm like, oh no, I'm too uncomfortable. Yeah, I let fear get the best of me sometimes.
No, we'll hope you have fun on the show today. I think we'll make it fun for her. Right?
We'll make it fun.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. Growing up, what did you do for a living, or what did you want to do for a living?
Oh my gosh. Okay, this question's kind of hard for me. So I was always like, I've always been into art. I've always been into creating. I've always been, I'm talking like down to paper mache, taking graphic design in high school. Like, I've always been intrigued with like anything design, anything art, anything creative. And my dad, he would always tell me, you're going to do something with art. You are. I mean, it's just the bottom line. There's no question to it. You're going to grow up. And he would try to like, sign me up for classes, and my music teacher, my art teacher, she would try to get me to do festivals. Actually, she did get me to do some festivals. So everybody was always trying to like push me into that direction, and I just didn't see it. I just didn't see, how can somebody make a career off of stuff like that? How can somebody really like be happy and content and make money off of being creative? Like in our time, our generation, I went to high school about 2004. That photography wasn't really that popular.
Right.
Social media was not existent at all. So you didn't even see like people creating businesses back then. So I just always kind of just like pushed it away. And then my dad just said, just go to college, start doing your prereqs, start doing those like basic requirements, and see if anything opens up. And I still thought like, no, I'm going to be a psych major. I'm going to help families. I'm going to do family counseling and maybe help children and stuff. And long story short, I ended up getting my degree. I got my bachelor's degree in liberal studies, but it wasn't until probably a year before I got my degree where my husband had gifted me a camera to just take fun photos of our son.
Just for fun. He was Landon was born, and he was probably about 8 months old, and Chad had gifted me a camera, and I just started playing with it, and it kind of just, started taking off. But I thought for sure I was going to be either a psych major, or once my career kind of took that turn in school, it kind of took a turn, and I decided to do liberal studies. I thought I'd be a teacher. Right.
So, yeah.
So what made you fall in love with photography, you would say?
So once he bought me the camera, I just kind of looked at it and was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like you think that I can take like cute pictures. Like that's real sweet. And I started taking photos of our son and posting them on MySpace. And,
MySpace legend right here. MySpace legend.
Absolutely.
MySpace. That makes me really feel old. But I started posting pictures on there, and, I would get little comments, and people would say like, oh, well, you take pictures of my family, and I would just kind of ignore them. But it wasn't until we reached out to a family photographer to take photos of our own family, and
she kind of got back to me. She saw my account and she asked me, would you be willing to work as an intern? Would you be willing to maybe come to weddings with me? And it kind of blew my mind. I literally was pulling into the parking lot to one of my classes in school. So like in my mind, I'm thinking like, this is the path that I'm going down, is I'm going to be a teacher.
Right.
And she's messaging me this, and I'm thinking in my mind, how is somebody as talented as her looking at my work? And it's literally, I mean, they're not even edited photos. It's just pictures that I'm taking off my camera. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And I'm just sharing with my family pictures of my son. And she saw potential in that. And it really just like, I mean, I remember just the door opening up in my head, like this talented woman, successful woman, wants me to help her, wants me to work with her. And that's where it kind of like, I couldn't sleep at night after that. It was like, man, maybe like this is something that I have a gift in. Maybe there's some talent behind this. Yeah. And after that, I remember reaching out to my sister and my sister-in-law, who both had 2 little girls at the time too, and just said, hey, would you guys mind if I took some photos of your kids, and just so I can play around with editing, just so I can maybe like do some setups and get creative. And of course they were all for it. They got photos of their children and I was able to practice, and slowly but surely it kind of like I started putting a lot more energy into that than I was even in my last year of school. So it really I didn't think that it would, but it just took up a lot of my time, a lot of my energy. And I guess that's like where the passion started to build. I didn't realize it was there, but it's like once it starts and you love it so much that it's just day in and day out, you're breathing it and thinking about it and you can't sleep at night. That's passion. Right. And that's where it started, about 2008.
I had asked the same thing to Anissa kind of, but it's a different field. Obviously she does makeup and eyelash extensions and stuff, but I always wonder, do you feel anybody could pick up a camera and be good at it? Or do you think it's just in you? Or how do you feel about that?
I definitely think that it's in you. I think that creative people, like there's a big genre of creative people, whether it's makeup, interior design, producers. I think that there's definitely you just watch like Dancing with the Stars. I was watching that the other last night, and it's just like you see people who they can sing and they can dance, like the AJ guy from Backstreet Boys. It's like all that creativity, like it all just goes hand in hand. And I think that when you're good at something, like you're usually good at a realm of creativity. So yeah, I think that there are people who can really pick up a camera and the composition is there. Like they know what their focal points are. They know the rule of thirds, and they haven't even been taught those things. They just know that looks good. So yeah, I would say that there are people who could pick up a camera and take legitimate photos. And at the same time, I think that there's people who want to be a photographer. They want to create something, and it takes them a lot more work. If sounds nice, like they, they actually have to study a lot more of that. It doesn't come as natural.
Okay. The next question I have, so, you just talked about your process, kind of just your husband gave you a camera. Obviously, where you're at today, it's different when you started. Was your family supportive? Yeah. How was it? You said you were going to school, the transition.
Yeah.
And you were talking about how back then it wasn't really something you didn't really think you could do that for a living. So
my gosh. Yeah. Back then I seriously knew maybe like 2 photographers in town. Wow. It was not a big thing. There wasn't stuff like all over social media. I think the only way people advertised back then were through their blogs. There wasn't Pinterest, there wasn't YouTube, nothing like that. So I remember, I think my family was supportive because I didn't necessarily just wake up one day and say, hey, this is going to be a business of mine and this is what I'm going to do full force and take care of myself with it. Right. They knew that I was going to school. They knew that I was getting my degree. They knew that I was going to have that backup no matter what. And so I think they had no choice but to support me because they knew that I always had a backup plan. Right. And it kind of just slowly developed into what it is today. It was, there was a lot of things that people didn't see. There was a lot of, I was putting my baby to sleep at 7 p.m. and staying up until 2 or 3 in the morning. A lot of people didn't see that, a lot of stuff wasn't documented with social media back then either. So there was a lot of just late night grinding, sleepless nights. And I remember just my mom being my number one babysitter, my husband was working and taking care of us. So I remember having to going on Sundays, booking all of my sessions on a Sunday afternoon, taking any family who would come my way, leaving my son with my mom, and just shooting everything that I possibly could. So my mom and my husband, they probably just looked at it more of like, oh, this is something fun she's kind of doing on the side. Like, nobody really asked like, well, what are you charging these people? You know, like, like, where do you see yourself long-term with this? It was just more like, oh, this is cute. Like, Amber's, taking pictures of other families. That's cute. But yeah, there was a lot of like late night stuff that was going on where I was really like teaching myself, and because of like no YouTube, no Pinterest, like none of that stuff, I remember taking trips to Barnes and Noble and having to purchase books, Photoshop for Dummies, like just anything that I can,
Grind.
That's a
The
great
grind.
like I literally had to like go and buy books, take them home and like read them. So while I was going to school, it was like, I felt like I was taking a photography course, but teaching myself at the same time. So
I think that's crazy to know, because if it wasn't for Google or anything, we would not be able to do this podcast thing at all. No
isn't
shot.
it crazy?
And
Yeah.
we ain't going to Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
I see a Barnes and Noble now, and there's like so much nostalgia because I'm like,
Yeah.
I remember, and honestly, I had Landon on my hip. Like that was Chad was working all the time, so I had my baby, and we would walk in there, and I'd get the books that I need, and we'd go to the little play area, and he would play with his own little books. My little 1-year-old at the time, and I was learning about my camera, learning about how to use Photoshop.
That's
I know.
That's awesome.
I feel like it feels like dinosaur ages now.
So how did you start? What was your first? Was it like model shoots, weddings, graduation?
Oh yeah, I liked this question. So yeah, it's so funny how like life comes full circle. So when I met my husband, his mom owns the clothing boutique Sugar Plums. And I had never had a job before in my life. And naturally I started working at that boutique because, Chad was there, his mom owns it. I didn't realize at the time that I was really building a lot of relationships with people. It was a town that I didn't grow up in. I grew up in Bakersfield, the boutique's in Porterville. And I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody in this town. And I was building relationships with all of these people. I mean, I just genuinely like these girls. They'd come and shop. We had the same interest. And you get to know each other. Well, fast forward a few years, and now here I am starting this journey. And I'm not advertising, like it's nothing like that. But every time I'd put something on my account, like, oh, I took pictures of my nieces or my, son, I would get these messages from these same girls who were shopping at the boutique, and they just remembered me from working in there, and they would message me like, hey, do you do family photos, or would you do my son's senior pictures? And so I was actually getting people reaching out to me. And I think that it's almost like, and I still like believe in this today, relationships are everything. Like when I, like even down to Will, when I wanted to say no to this podcast, I thought, okay, Will dropped everything when I needed that model and for that styled shoe. And you did that for me. So I thought, you know what? That's like what life is about. It's building relationships. It's building connections. And I look back and I think all those clients that would come to the boutique and I would meet were the ones that in turn were reaching out to me asking if I would do this for them. And I just kind of looked at it like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm not technically a photographer. I'm not an expert by any means. I'll take your photos as long as, there's some sort of compensation, but I'm going to print the photos out for you. I'm going to give you a CD of all the images. Like there was definitely like, we're both going to walk away from this feeling like we're winning. Like, I'm going to make a little side money and get some practice, and they're going to walk away with okay pictures from a brand new photographer, and they're going to have to spend just a little bit. But I already forgot.
Being happy, right? Being happy and being grateful that they got good pictures too, right? Good quality.
Almost like and I believe this today, like shooting weddings, it's relationships are everything. Bending over backwards to make other people happy is everything. Like these clients that come to me, they don't owe me anything. Like they just want photos. And I really think that you should do everything in your power as a business owner, as somebody that's your name, your face, everything that's a reputation. You need to be doing everything in your power to make them happy.
Right.
And I really believe that. So when I saw
Hey,
that I
she was shy, and she was shy to do it. Look at her.
serious,
Look at you
She's
killing
going off for
it.
now. She's going off.
You're killing it,
Let them know,
woman.
Amber. Let them know.
I will start preaching. If Chad were here, he'd be like, "Calm down, get
Yeah.
off."
You're like a walking Barnes and Noble.
Get off. No, but yeah, so when I realized that like I started to like kind of plateau and I couldn't really grow anymore, and I would still look to these other photographers. I had like these favorites. One was like in Louisiana, one was in Texas, because there wasn't a lot here. Like there wasn't a lot in town that you could really look up to. And I was seeing the stuff that they were producing, and I thought, I want to do that. I want that to be on my camera, on my Facebook now at the time, because I remember Facebook had just started. I want those images on my page. So Chad and I had our wedding in 2009. And that fall, I busted out my own wedding dress out of the closet after it's been dry cleaned, asked my sister-in-law to put it on, had her hair and makeup professionally done, and made her model in my wedding dress just so that I can have wedding content on my page. Like,
Wow.
It's so funny to like think, because now there's a lot of people that do like the styled shoots like we just did with Will, but back then it was like, I just remember I started kind of working with these other photographers. I was going to weddings with them, and I was, doing everything that I could to like help them out, but I couldn't use the images. Those were their images, and those clients, had signed contracts with those paid photographers. So I'm shooting away and I'm getting all this experience, but I can't use their pictures for advertisement. So I don't remember what happened, but a light bulb just went off in my head, and I thought, I have a wedding dress and I have a beautiful sister-in-law. She's going to throw my wedding dress on, and I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to pose her how I want to pose her, in the backgrounds that I want. And that's really like what kind of launched my wedding photography career, is those images. And I still have them today. And it's almost like funny, because I had no groom. It was just her. And I just posted them in my wedding section on my website, and slowly started doing weddings.
Just went off, right?
It did. I mean,
Nice.
slowly but surely. I mean,
Right.
Obviously, like in the beginning, you get stuff that you get, clients that you don't really probably click with. It's not really like the work that you want to do. The wedding is not really like what you want to photograph. But I feel, and I tell girls this who shoot under me and who are, needing advice, keep on shooting, keep on building those relationships, keep on, like, if you want those kinds of clients, go get those kind of clients. Go set up something yourself and advertise it and show people, like, this is my style. This is what I like. This is what I'm good at. And those clients will come to you. It's like the law of attraction. So
Dope.
How important is style though? Because I'm sure everybody has their own style when it comes.
everybody has their own style.
So
And
maybe somebody that kind of like corny, or like just as something you just don't do in the photography game, or how does that work?
Not just about the photography game. Obviously, we're into sports. So like,
Beef or what?
is there any beef? Let's get into
no,
it.
there's not. That's the
You
funny
know-
part, because I saw your guys' podcast and stuff. It's like that whole culture, sports. I am like the most like, you can ask my parents, my whole family, they all make fun of me. They're all like diehard Raider fans. I do not even know like anything about sports. It's embarrassing. My dad is like, Amber, you cannot be like this bad. I'm like the kumbaya yoga, at peace in the world. Like, why do people have their teams? Why? It's like same thing with like the political party. Like, you're a Trump fan, you're a Biden fan. Like, I am like, where's the peace in the world? Like, why
There
do we
you
have
go.
to
She's the
pick
Derek Carr of
sides?
photography.
She's the Derek Jeter of photography.
Yeah, I'm like so annoying. Like, I have to leave the group chat so that nobody gets mad at me, because I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, why are we acting like this? But photography is, at least here in Tulare County and in Visalia, Porterville, all of us girls root each other on.
That's
And
dope.
I don't know if it's always been that way, but that is how it is today. If I see a new photographer out there and she's just grinding her, what is it called, Instagram, and she's, she's doing good, like, I reach out and I tell her like that, like, that's awesome. And I expect,
so you reach out.
yeah, I reach out
That's
to
important.
people.
See, that's
Yeah.
important, right? So people that come into the game are going to assume, oh, she's up here, but you still do the right thing and reach out.
I'll
for
follow
advice,
them. I'll leave a
advice, and that's
comment.
awesome.
Yeah.
if it like, yeah, I just really think like, I remember for probably the first like maybe 5 or 6 years of me kind of starting out, I didn't really know a lot of other photographers personally.
Right.
And I just kind of, kept to myself and just did my own thing and worried about my own business and me. And slowly these girls started coming out, and some of them were clients of mine. And they started picking up a camera and learning. And I just thought, my first reaction was, oh my gosh, they're going to be better than me. Oh my gosh, they're going to take my clients. Like, oh my gosh, all this like negative. And I thought, no, how about I build a relationship with these people? Like, how about I see if they want to help me? How about I use their skill and their craft and their creativity as something that can maybe benefit me, scratch my back, and I'll scratch yours.
Exactly.
So I would bring them in, they'd help me shoot a wedding. And it was like, they're creative, so I'm benefiting. My wedding gallery is even better because now it's two photographers who are talented, and they're benefiting because they're learning from someone who's more experienced. So that's how I look at it. If you stand out to me, and I think that even if you're just a year in, but you're amazingly talented, you're going to hear it from me. I'm going to leave a comment. Like, I like that. Yeah, there's no beef. There's no competition.
She's a LeBron James of photography.
No, I'm not. I'm
Awesome.
not. No.
She's the LeBron James of it. What's your favorite shoot? Like yours, weddings?
Okay, weddings has always been my number one.
Okay.
I know there's probably some people
because of tequila, right? Because of the free.
No, and no, I do not drink at a wedding, and I get asked all the time. I know, no, I can't. I will not drink at a wedding. I think, and I know, you do you. I'm not going to judge you, but I just think number one, it's unprofessional. And number two, I'm not trying to get sloppy with my pictures. Like, right. I take every last shot so seriously. I mean, down to a bouquet toss. Like, that angle needs to be right.
Yeah.
No drinking for me. But what was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say before the drinking. Oh, my favorite is weddings. It's always been weddings. And I genuinely really love the whole feel of a wedding. I really think that, especially like within the first like maybe 8 to 10 years of me shooting weddings, I felt like me being in that environment, that energy that's at a wedding. I would come home and tell my husband, I would talk for an hour after a wedding day and tell him about the father of the groom. I would tell him about the bridesmaids and their relationships. And I tell him about what the preacher just preached during the ceremony. Like, you cannot show up to a wedding and have a bad time. Everybody is in their happiest. Everybody is like sentimental. Everyone's lovey-dovey. Everybody's drinking and having a good time. You cannot go to a wedding and have a bad time. So I really feel like in those first like 10 years where I was just in the middle of all of that, I was becoming really good friends with everybody. Like, I joke with brides who would come over to like book me. I would say, I'm literally like your honorary, like, maid of honor. Like, I'm your best friend on your wedding day. Like, I'm right there crying. I am like cheering you on. I genuinely love weddings. And I really do think that being a part of that, right. I mean, I was shooting probably 30 weddings a year for those first 10 years. I mean, that's more than half the weekends in a year. I really feel like all of that energy really helped me in my life. It helped me in my marriage. I think it helped me with my kids, like, to really look at like long-term goals, like what I would want. You see so many different types of relationships, and how those relationships with your kids, I mean, they show on a wedding day, when you got to be like, my mom and my dad can't stand next to each other on my wedding day because they don't get along. You hear those little comments and it's like, God, this is supposed to be the most special day of your life, and your mom and dad can't get it together. Like, you really, it resonates with you. Like, I would come home and think like, okay, I gotta get it together. My kids need like the best of me. They need the best of Chad. They need, it's so funny how a wedding can really teach. It did for me as a young mom. It taught me a lot of like what I wanted long-term with my family, and my family's everything. So yeah, weddings is my number one. And I say that it was because I'm slowing down with weddings. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any more here pretty soon. Kind of slowing down. Yeah, it's a lot of work. And our oldest is going into high school next year, and I really don't want to miss out on too much anymore. I'm kind of opening a door to a new path that I haven't really announced, and more with teaching, I think, more with like mentoring, helping other people maybe start their path and journey. So we'll see where that goes. I've been just barely like kind of looking into that.
before we leave the wedding part, I know that's your favorite. Was there any like big wedding like beefs, like an ex came in or like
No.
dad said no?
Reject the wedding.
Yeah, we're like, oh my
No, you
god,
can't do it.
did that ever happen?
I wish I had a story that cool. No, there's like nothing like that has happened to me. Like no groom with cold feet.
Oh, okay.
No, there's nothing
Okay,
like
that's
that.
good.
I know. No wedding beef. I wish there was. I want like a bridezilla, you know, like someone who's at her mom.
It's Willie's
No.
favorite show.
She finds out you cheated the whole time.
No.
So how, I know one of the most overlooked or kind of thing that does not get I guess looked at as much as, you know, you taking pictures. People might think, oh, that's so easy to take pictures, this and that. But the editing process, how long does it take for you to edit a wedding?
Okay, I just joked with one of my clients the other day because it took me like 2 hours to finish her photo shoot, her regular shoot, and I got the gallery back to her and she's like, oh my gosh, you're so quick. And I joked and was like, it took me a long time to get this fast because there's some learning, you know, every day. And 13 years ago, it used to take me 2 to 3 weeks to get a session out. So I would start a shoot, I would slowly work on it every single day, spend some time on it, and it would take 2 to 3 weeks. Today, it would take me an hour. So kind of like developing your own presets and really getting familiar with like anything Adobe, like Photoshop, Lightroom, all that stuff. It's made the whole process a lot quicker. And now I know what I like. I don't play with the photos so much. I know exactly what I want them to look like. So I don't really second guess myself anymore like I used to. I put it out there and I think when I edit a session, I literally think in my mind, this is what's on my heart. This is how I feel. This is what's pretty to me. This is what she's getting. I don't sit there and second guess it and think I need to change my editing style or try to go a whole different route with anything. Like, I just think if I'm giving my client the best of me, then that's what they're getting. And I just hope that they're happy with that. But yeah, but for weddings, it used to take 6 weeks turnaround time. So that, I mean, to me, that's a long time, 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. Now I can get it down to maybe about 2 weeks. Yeah.
So you trust your process, right? Like you have your routine, you trust it, you trust your style, and that's important. You know, we talk about like knowing about athletes and their process, their routine, you know, what helps them, you know, weightlifting at this time, getting through, you know, you have your process and your style.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, where do you start? How do you go through
let's
it?
Talk about your day, I guess.
Yeah. So one of my favorite things that my husband taught me about business is investing in yourself. So, and I have this girl that's kind of under my wing right now that I'm kind of teaching her the same thing, is always put money back into you, whether that's physically, spiritually, or maybe just your equipment. Always put money back into you. I don't know if that would have come naturally, but Chad, my husband, he was always big on that. Like, you know, you've made this much money this month, spend the extra $1,000 and buy a new lens, switch it up. Like, he always like had like that good feedback. I definitely think that the routine of getting up every day, getting up at a good hour, working out and keeping my body physically right, because wedding days are exhausting and I'm carrying 2 huge cameras, big lenses on me at all times. I'm small, I'm only 5'2", staying in shape, not having back problems, you know, like being able to walk the steps that I got to walk the whole day without getting so exhausted that I can't get out of bed on a Sunday. Like, that's just not going to work. Like, put the money back into yourself and put your time back into yourself. So yeah, there's definitely a process. Like, I definitely look at a lot of things like my health, my mental health, my physical health. Right. All of that is taking care of my business. Like, when I take care of me, I'm taking care of my business. Like, but also when you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of everybody else around you. When you're in your happiest, healthiest place in life, everything else trickles down. Right? Like, I mean, if I'm happy and healthy, my husband's happy, my kids are happy, my business is happy. Yeah. But always, I definitely have a process. My day, I'm really big on routines. I'm really like strict on where I put my energy, which also means like I limit like who comes over, who I interact with. My day looks like, and it's looked like this for about 10 years. I like to get up in the morning, start my day slow, make sure my kids are happy and taken care of and their day's going to go okay. I have to work out.
I at least spend 30 minutes to an hour working out. And I think that's important for just like I said earlier, like physically, mentally, I got to feel good. I got to feel good about myself, and I got to feel good for my clients.
Mm-hmm.
I spend probably 2 to 3 hours a day with emails, replying to people, kind of like, I always say, like, spend some time on social media, spend some time like interacting with people. Like, that is a job. Like, I have to be on there. I have to post some stories. I have to comment back to people. Like, I have vendors who have relationships with me. Like, I have florists and wedding designers who we have a relationship. And so I got to show up and be there. So interacting with people, rooting them on. Then I spend probably another 2-3 hours editing, just editing, getting galleries out, texting clients. I am on my phone texting clients more than anything. And then I put everything away probably about 4 or 5 o'clock. And if I don't have a shoot that evening, it is strictly family time. I think that's really important. I really learned from my dad. My dad has always kind of had his own thing going on, businesses and stuff. And I really think that as a child, and he knows this, he knows we all feel this way. We all got robbed, like, with relationship wise. Like, I mean, his work came first, and I get it. My family, like, he needed to put food on the table. I'm not in that position. Like, I want to put it away, and my kids and my husband, they got to have the best of me. That's really important to me. So yeah, I got to cook dinner. I like my house cleaned and organized, and I like my shows. Like, there's little things that I like to do that help me, like, unwind and reconnect with my family, so that I can kind of push that business aside and give my family the best of me. So that's what my day looks like typically.
I know you and your husband have been together for how long?
Oh my gosh, we've been together for 16 years, but we've been together since our senior year of high school. But
Nice.
that wasn't always easy. Like, we've definitely had some hard times, but for the most part, now that we've had kids and a family, and we definitely, yeah, he's my best friend for sure.
What do you think is the most important part of, like, keeping a lifelong relationship like that? Because that's not easy.
No, it's not easy. And Chad and I met our senior year of high school, and I can talk about us forever because he's, like, literally my everything. But when we met, we dated for about a year. So we did all, like, the high school proms, like, we did all that stuff together, but we ended up having, like, a big breakup. We were broken up for about a year. And I really look back on that year of being, like, by myself in solitude, like, kind of learning and experiencing, like, dating, getting out there, doing other things. That was a huge part of my life that I needed. And I think he needed it too. So once we got back together and the stars aligned, I really think that now we just don't take each other for granted. Because when you lose someone and you're not with them for a long time, I think you both can definitely realize how important human relationships are. I mean, they are everything. And I really think that he wouldn't be as successful as he is today, and I wouldn't be where I am today if we did not have the connection that we have. Like, just trying to make each other proud, going, connecting at the end of the night and giving each other solid advice. I mean, who else can you truly trust than the person who's sleeping next to you every night? You know, you got to have that. I mean, it went from my parents, they were my go-tos, and now it's him. So definitely, like, just that long relationship, I would say, is making sure the person that you're marrying and spending the rest of your life with is, number one, the person you absolutely cannot live without. I know that sounds so cliche, but your best friend, someone who laughs at you on your worst day, somebody who could make you laugh when you're crying, like, somebody that just picks you up and says, like, I'm all you need in this world. That person that makes you feel that way, like, how can you go wrong,
And that stuff can't really be forced.
She's preaching, huh?
She really is, bro. Like,
It can't be forced, and I've tried to force it before. So I definitely, and I know he's tried to force it too in the past, and you cannot make that stuff up. Like, when you find your soulmate, you hold on to them, because that stuff's no joke.
Right.
No, and I feel that little break you talk about, that 1 year break, it really kind of put you guys back together, reflecting, you know what I mean, and really understood that, you know what, I need her, or you need him. You know what I mean? I think those things kind of get overlooked a little bit too. They might think it's a bad thing, or it might be, no, that break is not needed. But sometimes, like, it really is needed.
It is so needed. And and mentally at the time, I mean, I know we were young. At the time, you just kind of think, okay, we're not together because we're not supposed to be together. We're just not supposed to be together. And you move on and find your set of friends and you have your little jobs and all these things that keep you busy, but you don't realize, like, in the bigger picture of things, like, you're learning something every single day. We're learning something. Even if it's just the people that we meet and the mistakes that we make and the regrets that we might have. God puts you on a path for a reason. And I think prayer and always keeping it in God's hands, like, is powerful, because you will end up where you're supposed to be.
Love it.
With the
Absolutely
people you're supposed to be with.
There you go.
Preaching, bro.
Damn.
Preaching. Love it.
You do counseling?
Well, she did say she wanted to get into psych.
Right.
Really, you did.
I did. That was like my initial, I thought for sure I would. Yeah. I like talking. You can ask anybody in my family. I will sit there and talk like forever on my beliefs.
Nice. Let's get back to photography a little bit. What's the most awkward shoot you ever had? No names. If you want to throw the name, even better.
No, you want beef so bad. I'm like Miss Positive Patsy.
That's good. But there has to be some awkward times. You know what I mean? Something.
The only awkward thing with photography is when you get the couples that don't want to, like, show affection with each other. That's the only awkward thing. Like when a guy, it's like an engagement shoot and he literally doesn't want to hug or, like, be affectionate with the girl he's marrying. To me, I'm like, okay, this is awkward, because I don't know, like, how do you
interact them, right?
Out. Yeah, and I absolutely hate when people want to pull up old Pinterest pictures. I don't get this as often anymore. I kind of shut it down, but old Pinterest pictures, stop doing that. Photographers don't want to see old Pinterest pictures. We've seen all the gimmicky things. We've seen the trends.
Yeah, because that was going to be my next question. What's the most cliche thing people ask for and you just can't stand to do?
Let them know how you feel. Let them know how you feel.
No, I will flat out tell clients before we even, like, start their session. They come over to my house and we meet. We talk forever about what I expect from a wedding and what they expect from me. And that is, like, one thing that I say is, do not give me a picture that we're going to laugh at in 10 years. Like, no more signs, like, no more props, like, just be you. Show up, get your hair and makeup done, wear some good clothes, and don't be cheesy, because in 10 years you will laugh at those photos. So yeah, we ex-nayed that a long time ago. I remember, like, five years ago, I was getting all that cheesy stuff, and it was like, no more props, like, no more of, that we're going to laugh at in 5 years. I don't want to do.
Okay. What's an example of a prop that?
Props are like those little signs that would say, like, just married, or, I don't know. Like, I don't want to hurt
That's
anybody.
something Willie would do.
Listening to
No, I'm not a very creative guy, so, like, I'm definitely a Pinterest person, and I have to find.
No, I like.
Willie's the guy that's gonna bring, like, his 6 months or something together. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like,
yes, I'm the 1 month.
I can't help it. Like, I don't want to be judgy, but I'm just like, if somebody's gonna laugh at, and I've been there. That's why I know. If you're gonna laugh at that in 10 years, don't do it. Like,
there you go.
I mean, sometimes it's okay. You got to be cheesy and do, like, all, but sometimes.
No. Let's not make it normal. It's not. It's not.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, like, on social media where you can't help but look and you're like, you're going to make fun of yourself in 5 years for doing that.
Right. To help all the boyfriends out there, do you feel like girls love it to have those surprise photo shoots?
Surprise photo shoots?
Like, oh,
like when they have a camera for the proposal?
Like, I booked us a shoot for, just cause, let's go.
Oh, girls like that.
Okay.
Girls like that.
They better, right?
They better like that. I already have a girl who told her fiance or her boyfriend he is not allowed to propose unless me or any other photographer is hiding somewhere in a bush. I like that. I think that stuff's kind of cool, because I mean, you're just documenting that. I did that. We did that a couple years ago. I did a surprise proposal on the beach. So I'm just sitting on the beach like a regular person, sitting there with my husband. Yeah, my camera's hidden, because she would have recognized me, and he's just looking like they look like they're just walking before dinner. And right when he sees where I am, he gets down on one knee right in front of me. So I whip out my camera as fast as I can, and
those have to be the most fun.
Let's go.
Yeah, so she starts screaming, jumping up and down. She, like, jumped on his back. I mean, she was, like, so excited that she didn't even realize I was right there with my camera in my hand. And
She's
those,
like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Throw your mask real quick.
Yes.
Pretending she was reading a book at the beach. And then whips out her camera. Pop, 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 pop.
Yes, I like whipped it out so fast, but I had to like sit there and pretend like I was just a regular like bystander.
That's dope.
But,
That is
yeah.
funny. I didn't even think about that. That's got to be the funniest thing.
I
Yeah.
think every guy has to do that. You got to get, I mean, unless you're both shy and you don't care, but if you're,
Yeah, if you don't care, that's the one.
yeah, if your girlfriend likes photos, definitely hire a secret photographer for stuff like that. Everybody likes photo shoots. I get guys that buy their fiancés, like that's their Christmas gift or is a photo shoot, you know? I had a dad last year. He bought his wife. He didn't know what to get his wife for Christmas, so he bought her a gift certificate for a photo shoot, and then wrote that he promised he wouldn't be a jerk during these family photos. Like that was his gift.
That's big.
That is good.
Yeah, there's so many dads out there. They can't stand that annual Christmas card photo, and I get it. So
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
true.
that was kind of cool.
So how has social? We were kind of talking about it earlier, but how has social media changed the game for you? Like, does it add more pressure? Has it helped you? You know, a lot. How do you feel about that?
Okay, so social media, I would be more intimidated now if I were just starting out because of the competition out there.
Right.
Back, in 2008, 2009, it wasn't that big. So I was just doing my own thing, minding my own business, posting what I wanted to post, and I was liking the feedback. I always joke now there wasn't any competition. So my pictures could have sucked and I still would have got the clients that I got. And so like, I really have a lot of my followers are people who have literally been with me for the past 13 years. And then the people that, the referrals that they know, the people that they know, like it kind of trickles down. I would not be where I am today without social media. I started building my business off of blog content because there wasn't social media. So everything would go on my website. So I'd have to try to get people to get to my blog in order to see like a full shoot, to see what I'm advertising. And so that's just how it was. So now social media is everything. I could literally run my whole business just off of Instagram. I don't even use my Facebook anymore. It's just Instagram. I don't think that puts a lot of pressure on me. I just think that I always remember to be authentic, like stay true to who I am. Don't try to be anything that I'm not. Post what I love. Don't overpost. Don't be obnoxious, and don't let it drag. Don't go, days on end without posting anything. Like there's definitely a formula, but it has to be kind of natural. I don't put a lot of pressure on myself. I think that the whole photography industry has kind of taken a turn recently. I don't think people want to be. It felt like a few years ago, everybody wanted to become a photographer. It felt like everybody was like pulling out a camera and thinking they're a photographer. I think that now.
Yeah, I did that for like a week. Once I started doing the editing, I'm like, nah, it's the same. It's just the same me.
If you don't.
2 hours to do one picture. I was like, hell no.
Yes. Oh, for sure. And see, that's where like that passion is important, because if it's, maybe you guys feel this like with the podcast, if the 2 hours flies by and it only feels like a minute, that's when you know you're doing what you love. But if you're sitting there and it feels like, you want to cry the whole time, then you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Well, the taking pictures part is fun. Don't get me wrong. It's just the editing part. Like, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, that's the editing part. And see, for me, when I look back, way back when, I loved it. Even sitting there for hours at a time, it was just like, oh man, like it's like eating cake to me. Like I could just sit there and do it and do it and do it, and I loved it. But yeah, the social media is everything, and I think that nowadays people really want to be. They want to be there. Everybody's big thing on social media right now is to be an influencer. Everybody wants to be an influencer. Everybody wants like that attention. They want, like look at all the girls like posting pictures like with their pumpkins or like the pumpkin spice lattes. Like
it's those skirts. Those orange skirts are coming out, right?
Everybody.
Yeah, those Thanksgiving. Oh my God.
What skirts are you talking about?
The orange skirts that come up to your belly button.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a fall mood, like a fall.
Oh my gosh.
Comes back every year. The
This is the
turtlenecks.
guy's perspective.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be an influencer now, so it's like kind of nice that like the pressure of the competition with photography is kind of like dying down again. Like I feel like it's people just want to model nowadays, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So how often do you post? Like you talked about that, social media is still a big thing, and how often do you post, or do you feel like, oh, I need to post, or
yes,
I pushed out so much this month that I'm okay, or
yes. Oh yeah, and there's like apps for that now. Like I was really big on Planoly, and I'm sure people still use it, where it would like schedule your posts for you. So like there's all these apps, and I used to just like dive into it. So there's like times of days, like people always talk about the algorithm and like where you want to get, you know, the most attention. Everybody jumps on their phone between 6 and 7 a.m. every day. So, you know, if you want the most attention, you post first thing in the morning. Like you don't post at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when people are at work, or, you know, like they can't really check their phones a lot. If you want that interaction, you post it first thing in the morning. Only posting once a day. That's like another rule that people know about, like not doing 2 posts, 3 posts at once, or all in one day, because then people are just like, well, I like their content, but it's clogging up my feed, so they're not following you. Yeah, there's all those formulas, and I was huge into that. Like probably like with like the last 5 years, I was really into scheduling my post, knowing like what my Instagram, like what my feed looks like. Like if I've already posted a wedding couple, my next post maybe should be a family. Like it needs to like look cool. So when you go to my page, like it looks real balanced, you know, like not a lot of green, some white, like it has to, there's so much that goes into it. And I think about it all. I think about the design. I think about the audience. I think about my demographic, who follows me. But yeah, I haven't been that good lately. I've kind of like, I've really been wanting to slow down, but these last 13 years, I really feel like I've been all into it. Like yeah. I don't know what else to say on that.
For as many years as you've been doing this, do you feel like you can get better still?
Yes, always. I really think that you can get better still.
LeBron James, there you go.
I used to think that I remember I made a mistake a couple years ago where I thought I needed my pictures to be better. I needed to elevate them. I needed them to get to the next level. And I thought maybe I just need to buy a nicer camera. Maybe I need to upgrade. I literally used that camera for maybe a year and returned it or sold it on Amazon or whatever you do. Chad takes care of all that for me. I went back to like my old, I was like, that's not the answer. Like if I want to get better, if I want something to change inside of me, like I got to figure that out authentically. It's not just about like upgrading your equipment. Like you can shoot on a Canon Rebel starter camera from Costco and make your pictures look cool. Like to me, I think it's about emotion. I think you really want to capture like true feelings. It's not all about like people just standing there smiling for the camera and being very posed. It's more like laugh with each other, like show some emotion, like show some true feeling. So yeah, I don't remember what the question was.
No, you're good.
That was great. What gear do you use for the people that are out there that are like camera junkies and love
Okay.
stuff?
I will tell anybody, and anybody could tell like that knows about equipment. Like I'm at weddings all the time with my cameras all over me. So if you see me like out and about with my gear on, you can tell that I shoot with the Canon Mark III. I've only shot with Canon. I love Canon. The first camera that Chad bought me was a Canon Rebel. My lenses, I try to keep a little bit more secretive because I am going to be teaching a little bit next year. I have some classes that we're preparing for. I want to really teach these women who have signed up what lenses I use, when I use them, and why I use them, why I like them. It took me a long time to learn about those lenses, and I don't think that I need to just like I get messages probably daily like, what camera do you use, what lens do you use? And I just think that people need to like go out and buy their own stuff, play with it, and if they don't like it, turn around and sell it used and buy something new. I think that I only say that because I really think it's important for you to take the long road. Like I don't think that there's like there's no like it's like what's it called, like the get rich quick schemes. Like there's no happiness in that. Like right. For me, I really think that I can sit back today and be really proud of where I am and really proud of where my business is because I took the long road, because of those long nights reading, because of searching for blogs and reading about what other women have gone through. Like taking that long path, I think that's why I am content and happy with where I am today. I think that if you're reaching out to people and sending them messages and trying to like figure out all the answers, I literally had a girl message me the other day and said, how much can I pay you to teach me how to edit? like I appreciate it. Like I really like those. I like that they're reaching out to me and that that I'm like flattered that they would even want to be taught to make their pictures look like mine.
Right.
But I really think that it's important for everybody to like grind, like get in there and spend the time like learning what you need to learn. Like you're never going to be happy in the long run. I don't think you'll even have a long journey in your career path if you take the short road. So my answer to a lot of those people is, this is the camera that I shoot with, but the lenses, those are my babies. And I can tell somebody, I just told my cousin recently to go out and buy this lens and blah, blah, blah. She came back to me and was like, I hated it. I would have rather shot with this other lens. Like, everybody has like their own little favorites, but it took me a long time to find like my specialty. Like
a little niche.
There's like 3 that I constantly like rotate between. And it took me a long time to get there. And it took me a lot of like, buying one thing and then selling it to somebody else, or, like trading to get to where I'm at. And I think it's important for everybody to kind of go down that path, like everybody to kind of go down that road, or just invest in it, pay for a workshop, pay for a class. Like, I do that. I go to workshops. I went to Utah 2 years ago and learned a ton from Brianne Weston. Like, invest in your future and really like and pay attention to what they're teaching you and learn, because nothing is quick. And if you want to like value what you're about, if you want to like feel proud and happy, take the long road and like do your research, do your homework.
No, I love that too, because that's something we always preach about too. We're
Yeah.
both very prideful, man. We don't like to ask people for, hey, can you help us out with this? As much as we would, if you're welcome you want to know anything as far as starting a podcast or whatever, yeah, by any means, come, we'll help you out. But as far as us, we've learned everything on our own. We've done everything from the ground up. You know what I mean? It just feels so much better. I know we're just getting started and we got a long way to go, but to know we actually started something from the ground up, like it's a really good feeling.
And just to kind of add to that, like I appreciate that, but also, like you mentioned about relationship and, being smart of using your resources, right? You talked about your workshops and listening, pay attention for us, like whether podcast was trending, what is it, what is, and I think, being understanding of what's in and what's not, and like you're building relationships.
Yeah, definitely. We have some relationships that we built that have helped us tremendously, like, big time. We wouldn't be here without them. So, I mean, it goes.
And you never know, like 10 years down the road, you might still need that person,
Oh, yeah. That's the plan. You just mentioned, this is a routine how we do it, and we want to build those relationships and continue those relationships. And big, but
and if you're just starting out, I wouldn't even suggest like letting anybody ride your coattail. I know that sounds bad, but like keep your guard up a little bit. Like my husband was big on that when I was first starting out, and people were wanting to learn and like trying to pick my brain. Well, he's like, you just spent 11 hours, like reading that book, and they just want the answer like that. And it's just like, he would tell me like, don't answer that. Don't respond to them, ignore them. And I really respect that, because I could have gained a few followers by giving them those little answers, or like, yeah, I just bought this lens, or I just started editing with this like preset. That would have been nice. And I would have gained one friend, but they got to figure it out. Like you just worked your butt off to learn what Don't be afraid to be a little guarded, especially in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that's
that.
Big.
Is this I know you kind of mentioned this is not like you have a deadline with this, but what are some other aspirations or goals you have in your life that you want to do?
Oh gosh, I really no, this is pretty much, I don't want to like, it's so funny because I think I'm only going to be 35 years old. Like I'm not close to like retiring, but I do think I need to slow down, and there's a few other things that I want to do like here in the next few years, but I don't want to start I don't want to like really, there's like things that I like to do, but I don't want to create another business. It took so much heart and soul to like get where I am right now. I don't even think I would have the energy to like restart again. Like, I don't know. No, there's really nothing. Like my ultimate goal right now is my family. And I just really like, I want to make sure like I'm raising my kids, I'm present, I'm like there for my husband and what he's doing now. He's always been my biggest supporter. Now I want to be his biggest supporter.
I really like that. My biggest goal, my biggest dream in life is to keep my family together when I'm old and on my deathbed. You know, like that is everything to me, for my kids to know that my mom was there.
And people, sometimes we forget that, right? We tend to forget those things. Like, you know, that's the foundation you set. That's the foundation that where you gave, and one day there you teach your kids to give to somebody else. And the standard, you kept it high, and that's a job itself. And a lot of people don't understand that.
It really is. And I just think that all we can do, my dad would always tell me, the ultimate American dream is to do better than what your parents could have given to you. Mm-hmm. If you could already say that, you've succeeded. Right. And I really think that Chad and I, we do that. Like, we take what our parents were able to give us. We're grateful for everything that they were able to do. And now we just want to do a little bit more and hope that our kids could do even a little bit more than us. Exactly. And that's all that we could do. I like that Jim Carrey quote. When he says, I wish everybody could get rich, get famous, have all the money in the world, and realize that that's not the answer. I always think back to that. It's like, we could have all the fame, all the popularity, like people, you know, all the money. Like, never would have I have thought that photography would provide the income that it has provided for me. And I'm grateful. But his quote is so true when he says that is not the answer. So it's like, this has been great. And I would never give up photography completely. I love it way too much. But to slow down and know that, like, your kids also need you, and your husband needs you, and your family needs you. And at the end of the day, I want them to know that mom was never too busy for me. So I got to stay down that path and, like, remember, like, keep my eye on the prize, I guess. And my prize is my family.
Big balance. Loves balance.
Big
balance.
Love it.
All right, so we're going to finish off. I don't know if you heard, we have what's happening questions.
Oh my gosh, that Anissa took forever to answer.
She was horrible with that.
She had to overthink.
Literally understanding. Oh my gosh, but it was a great time. So don't do that, okay? Don't be that, okay?
I'll try.
It's just this or that, okay?
I'm impulsive with decisions, so this will hopefully be good for me.
Here we go.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Beach or city?
City.
Cook or eat out?
Cook.
Go ahead, Willie. Ask her.
Pedicure and man. Why you want me to ask this?
Because you do this.
Wait, did you guys already think these out, or are you just going off the top of your head?
Oh, we thought them out for sure.
Okay, good. Okay.
Pedicure and manicure?
Ooh, pedicure.
Okay. Old school music or new school?
Old school, 100%.
Like? What are you listening to?
I literally, and don't laugh at me, I was listening to, like, Britney Spears, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, all that stuff. No, I know. I know. I never would have
Bye-bye?
All of it. I was like, this stuff is even better today than it was when I was younger, and I would rather listen to it than the garbage that is on the radio now. I cannot stand that stuff. That's when you know you've become old.
NSYNC was nice.
But I like even older stuff. I like Lisa. I like all that stuff that, you know, Journey, all the stuff my parents listened to, and then the old country stuff, Shania Twain, the Judds. I like it all.
Nice.
But I don't like the new music, so.
Okay, there you go. Next one, Notebook or Step Brothers?
Notebook.
Classic.
Yeah, because we kind of want to know, is she into chick flicks or is she like those comedy movies?
Any sort of romantic movie, like, sign me up. My husband won't even watch movies with me because I'm so, like, that's all I care about.
What's your favorite movie?
What's your favorite chick flick? Oh, are they romantic movies, or we call them chick flicks? What is it?
Well, there was, like, the whole rom-com.
Yeah.
You know, that was, like, big. Like, what, my younger generation, that was huge. I like The Notebook, but my favorite movie is probably, like, kind of cheesy, but Gone with the Wind, Meet Me in St. Louis, and The Notebook are probably my top three. And Sweet Home Alabama.
Isn't Gone with the Wind like 6 hours long or something?
Oh my gosh, I have to watch it every Thanksgiving. My whole family knows. I love that movie.
Hey, what's yours, Willie? I'll tell you mine.
Favorite movie?
Favorite chick flick?
Oh, favorite. I don't know. I like Fever Pitch. That's one of my favorites.
What's Fever Pitch?
What is that?
It's with Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore. Where he's a big Red Sox fan.
I need to write that down.
Oh, it's class. Okay. It's on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix.
What is it? Comedy?
It's a rom-com. That's the first time I've ever heard rom-com. By the way.
I'll try it.
Mine's similar. I like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Oh yeah.
Classic.
You really like that? You like that movie?
Yeah. I gave the same answer. Like, really, bro?
You really like it. I like
it's funny.
Kate Hudson. I would rather watch Goldie Hawn than Kate Hudson.
We're really having girl talk right
We
now.
kind of are. My hands are like this underneath the table.
Yeah. My legs over one other leg right now. You want Starbucks or?
It's pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
Pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
I have one more. This
One
one,
more?
this one was off the top of my head though.
Okay.
Would you rather take pictures for a year without editing, or have to take pictures without seeing the picture? You know, you can't use your little lens. You can't look at it. You just gotta like
Just click it.
kind of feel it.
Oh, for sure, take pictures without editing.
Because that's
I
kind of
I don't-
impossible, huh?
I don't mind. Can you guys hear those little things going on?
Yeah, it's all good. Don't worry
It's
about
all
it.
good.
I don't mind showing people the raw images.
Okay, she's that.
Yeah,
confident.
I can show.
Yeah.
I can show.
I'm telling you, she's LeBron James, bro.
And you're saying everybody's beautiful.
Yeah.
You're saying everybody's beautiful.
What do I need to look up more about LeBron James? I told you I don't know much about sports.
No, I'm just saying that's a
Amber,
it's definitely a compliment.
Okay, you don't have to know much about sports to know who LeBron James is.
No, that's what I'm saying. I know who he is, but I don't know about all that other stuff.
No,
Okay.
it's just a compliment that your standard
You're
is
the-
high. And you're the best.
You're the
That's
best.
it.
You're the
Really?
best.
No, I would never say that. Not even close.
Well, we feel it, Amber. Okay, you don't have to say what we feel.
That's how we feel.
Thanks, guys.
Well, Amber, thank you so much for joining the show. It was
Yeah.
such a good show. Loved
Yes.
it.
Yeah, no,
Say
thank
your
you.
favorite line. Say your favorite line. Oh, this is my favorite show.
Oh yeah. Every episode is my new favorite episode. And this one right now, I learned so much relationships,
Yeah,
photography,
honestly,
life.
Counseling session.
What?
She was nervous, but she killed it.
She
Honestly,
killed it.
I was like shaking before I started, but yeah, I'm a talker.
It was fun, right?
I'm a talker. I liked it. You guys are good. You got the
Yeah,
best
yeah.
of me.
Yes, we love it. Thank you.
Next time we'll do it in studio and we'll figure it out.
We'll
And
do a part
Yeah.
two, maybe or
maybe
something.
you and Anissa,
Oh, bro, it'll be
for
a little
sure.
girl talk.
it'll be a 4-hour show, bro.
Yeah, but definitely like an hour, no 4 hours.
Anissa would still take over the show.
Oh, definitely.
Well,
Where
thanks,
can where can
guys.
the people reach you at? What's your Instagram? Plug it up.
Instagram, Simply Smith and 2 little underscores.
Go check her
Awesome.
out. Is she a wedding photographer?
That's
Not
it.
not me and you.
No, definitely not. No.
I know I'll be doing Will's wedding one day.
Yeah.
His
Hey, how
mom-
was Willie at his shoot?
out.
His shoot came out very well.
Yeah.
How was he? Was he
good.
nervous? Talk to us.
No, he was a natural.
Natural?
He knows it. I had nobody to do that shoot with. The guy that we had originally backed out. I don't even know the guy. They kind of booked him. And I was literally the night before the shoot, I thought I need someone with a good smile. And then Anissa texted me and I was like, oh, Anissa's brother. And then I messaged Will and he did it. And I'm forever thankful. He was good. Don't try to make fun of him.
It's my job. It's my job.
Well, once again, thank you, Amber. If you
Thank
guys,
you guys.
if you haven't already, make sure you guys go follow our Instagram at That's How You Feel. That's THTS How You Feel for all the fire content. I'm telling y'all, funny videos, up to date news in music and sports. What else we got? Bethel?
More girl talk.
Yes, we'll bring
More
we'll bring the girls.
Orange skirts. Definitely,
Are you
we're
guys-
bringing the.
Fall
Are you
season.
guys bringing more girls on here?
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
we have to.
This is a podcast for everybody.
And if you suggest anybody, hey.
I
bring them
can't
on.
wait. I might
Yeah.
have to send you some texts if I think of anybody.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
awesome.
We'll definitely take it. But hey, yo, Beto, did we hit him with another one or
Yeah,
what?
we hit another one. Bro.
Yes, sir.